Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages. If you follow basketball, you know Chilltown Hoops.
So this is really good right here. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls all over the world. Y'all know what time it is when you see me. It is Chilltown Hoops. Here on YouTube, we talk pro basketball, the good, the bad, the indifferent. We accept everything here except nonsense. And what was some nonsense? Was it nonsense a couple of days ago when we witnessed the Oklahoma City Thunder just dismantle Minnesota? Was it nonsense to say that the series was over? Was it nonsense to say, what up, Church? What's up, Chuck? Was it nonsense to say when we saw the Indiana Pacers didn't win one game, won both of those games in New York City? Was it nonsense to say we ain't coming back to New York City? When I think about teams who've had the home floor and have dropped the first two games at home and came back and won, it's a very small sample size. The Bulls did it. Not the Bulls, I'm sorry. The Celtics did it against the Bulls in 17. They had dropped their first two games, and I'm on record saying this, that if, not 17, 18, 17, correct, it was 17. I'm on record saying, it was either 17 or 18, one of those 2 years. I'm on record saying if Rondo hadn't broken his hand, the Celtics are out. That's why they ended up losing. Off the strength of that alone. There were other things that factored in. You know, Wade slowed down. Jimmy Butler slowed down during the course of that series. But I'm on record saying, had Rondo was the difference. And had he not broken his hand, this series is over. Boston is out. Because they clearly looked like they were better. They clearly looked like they were better than Boston. In 94, the Rockets had dropped the first two games at home against Houston. That did happen. Yes, sir. That 100% happened. And in 93, they came back and won the series, by the way. And in 93, Phoenix ends up dropping the first two games. And this was a 3-game series, by the way. This wasn't this was a 5-game series. And the first team to 3 wins, and Phoenix dropped the first 2 games at home in 93 against the Lakers. That team wasn't that good. I mean, they would have been much better with Magic. I think that team was finals good with Magic in 93 and in 92 too. Yeah, I think that team was finals good. But that's neither here nor there. Were we ridiculous to think that this series wasn't coming back to New York City? I was one of those people that didn't think that. I'm thinking to myself, we can't come back here. We cannot come back here. Only except they are going back there for Game 5. That is happening. I said that everything that I saw from Minnesota in Game 3 was going to tell me everything I needed to know about that team. Even though they had handled Minnesota in those first 2 games at home. Handled them. The energy level was different. Both Julius Randle and Edwards couldn't put together a game. But with the both of them, right? With the both of them playing at an elite level. I got one from Julius, and then I get another one from Ant. Well, I got both of those guys playing better at an elite level, not better, at an elite level. On top of that, I think that the game plan was way different against Oklahoma City, and the energy was different at home than it was on the road. Your rotation players play better. Your energy level is better. Feeding off the crowd. Anthony Edwards came out with way more energy in Game 3 than he did both of those games, Games 1 and Game 2 combined. Lou Dort is trying to put hands on him. Anthony Edwards is not trying to hear that. Chucking hands off me. Don't touch me. He's not trying to hear none of that, which I'm loving that. And the reason why I'm digging that is off the strength that they showed that this was going to be a series. I saw that in 2006 with the Miami Heat. playing against Dallas in the NBA Finals. After those first two games, the Heat were written off. This series is a wrap. This series is a wrap. We're not coming back to Dallas. There's 3 games in Miami. Dallas will take 2 of those 3 games and end it in Dallas. Only except that's not what happened. That's not what happened. Being at home, the energy changes. And I would have thought that was the case, because that was definitely the case for Minnesota. That wasn't the case for Indiana. It's actually the opposite. Tyrese Halliburton shoots under 20% at the long ball line in the playoffs. I mean, that's not going to get it done. No. And with him shooting 20%, teams are backing off of him a lot, which means that the mid-range is open, which means that there's way more space for him to operate to get the different spaces in that mid-range, which means that when he starts knocking that mid-range shot down, now the other stuff happens. I can get downhill, which I thought Tyrese Halliburton let Cat off the hook a couple of times getting downhill. I think he ran away from the rim, even though Cat was ailing. It was a knee. It looked like his knee was bothering him. Well, it didn't really look like Tyrese Halliburton had taken advantage of him like he really could have, right? Like he really could have. So with that being said, right? So with that being said, this Knicks team just kept fighting. And with that being said, they ended up coming back and they ended up winning, because we saw them do this not once, but twice against the Boston Celtics. -20. 4 to 5 games that they played against the Celtics, they were down 20. They were down 20. 4 of those 5 games that they played against the Celtics, they were down 20. 3 of them, they came back and won. 3 of them. Now, there's some people who will tell you that Jason Tatum, right? There's some people who will tell you that Jason Tatum got hurt, so they were still going to lose that game. The Knicks were going to, even if Jason Tatum doesn't get hurt, the Knicks were going to beat them that night. And now we got a huge problem, right? Because they're down 3-1. But I feel like yesterday, the Knicks beat Indiana at Indiana's game. Tibbs dug into his bench more. In addition to digging into his bench more, he got more production. Now, his guards weren't shooting the ball great, but he was able to get rest for guys like Cat. He was able to get rest for those guys because he can go to a small ball lineup, because those guys are giving him good minutes. He had a lineup out there last night of Hart, Miles, Wright, Shamet, and Mitch. That was the 5 that he had out there last night. And they go on a 5-0 run. With them going on a 5-0 run, that's buying time for Cat. That's buying time for Jalen Brunson, who was in foul trouble. I've always had a difficult time with the logic that I got 15 guys on this bench and only 6 of them playing. Nah, man. Especially when you're trying to win the NBA championship. The teams that I've seen over the course of my lifetime have dug deep into their bench. Always dug deep into their bench. If you are going to win an NBA championship, do not let the exception be the rule, which is what Denver was. Where you got one awesome player, you got another really good player who's playing awesome, and then you got some complementary pieces that fill out the rest of the stuff in MPJ, in Aaron Gordon, right? You got some complementary pieces, but you only had 6, 7 guys. That's the exception. That's not the rule. Even though in the playoffs, coaches shorten their rotations. I know that. That's not news to me. Coaches shorten their rotations. But the best coaches, right? The best coaches, they've always had long rotations. 8, 9 guys, legit. Sometimes 10 guys, legit, that I'm going to go with in order for us to have an opportunity to win. And Tibbs showed that last night when he went to Shamet, when he went to Miles, when he went to Wright, who I don't think Wright has played 5 minutes. I don't think he's played 5 minutes since the All-Star break. But he went to Wright. He stuck with Shamet. He stuck with Miles. He had Hart as a rotation player, who I'm in the minority. I always thought Josh Hart was a rotation guy. I always thought that. And a lot of people hear rotation guys and they immediately think bench player, not as good. Well, rotation guys are the backbone of everything that you're doing. Because after the 5 that you have, if you don't have good rotation players, again, the exception will not be the rule. You more times than not will lose. That's why Indiana is as good as they are, because they got 9, 10 guys. Rick Carlisle digs into that bench. Not only does he dig into that bench, he knows how to exploit mismatches. He knows how to utilize TJ McConnell in speeding up the game and getting guys involved where they need to get involved. Now, don't get me wrong. TJ McConnell is not Tyrese Halliburton. I'm not going to say that on any level. No, I'm not going to say that. I'm not on any level even suggesting that. However, when Tyrese Halliburton goes to the bench, and TJ McConnell comes in, he keeps them at a pace that they're used to playing at. The game doesn't slow down. He's still aggressive as a scorer. Obi Toppin is on the wing running. Matherin is on the wing running, right? Bryant comes into the game. He's your dirty work guy. He finds minutes for Bradley. I don't remember Bradley playing at all throughout the course of this season. I don't. I do not remember him playing. No. So Rick Carlisle, he's got 9, 10 guys. I think the difference in yesterday's game was the energy. Here's what I mean when I say that. So Nesmith is an energy guy. With Nesmith being an energy guy, he ignites a lot of the stuff that's going on their defense and their offense. He causes turnovers. He gets out in transition. That energy resonates throughout the rest of the crew. One of the main reasons why they had blown that lead, one of the main reasons why they had blown the game open the way that they did was because of their energy. They had gotten in the passing lanes. They had pushed the Knicks offense further away from the basket. They were making the Knicks play defense also, which was also disrupting their offense. Like when it's one pass shot, I think you let teams off the hook when you do that. Indiana wasn't doing that. When Nesmith went out of the game, I think that took some of the energy away from them. They weren't nearly as aggressive offensively. Not only were they not nearly as aggressive offensively, defensively, the Knicks were getting closer to the basket. Right? The Knicks were getting closer to the basket. With the Knicks getting closer to the basket, Cat got going. And then we get to a point where now we find ourselves in a dogfight. They weren't navigating screens like they were early on. They weren't on the glass. Even as good as Mitchell Robinson is, they weren't on the glass like they were previous to that. So that kind of stuff seeps into the rest of the game, right? I feel like that kind of stuff seeps into the rest of the game. And even though the Knicks their backcourt players didn't shoot it well, Brunson, Josh, Miles, and Wright, I mean, they were 15 for 45 shooting the basketball. However, they kept those guys on the floor, and they were good enough to just keep the Knicks in the game until they were the reinforcement. Keep the Knicks in the game until those other guys, OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, and Cat, were able to come back in and get going, which is the 100% thing that they did. I felt like they beat Indiana at Indiana's game. And I can't say this enough, that them sweeping the Knicks is horrible for business. It's terrible for business. Adam Silver was watching that first half 20-point game thinking to himself, you guys are killing me. Indiana cannot walk by these guys in 4 games. This is awful for business. Awful. Because the finals don't start for at least another week. June 1st is next Sunday. The finals don't start till like the 5th. If this series is over tomorrow, You telling me that you telling me that the Indiana Pacers would have had an entire week and a half off, and the Knicks are out? So now I gotta. So now I have to. So now I gotta promote Indiana, Oklahoma City, Indiana, Minnesota, which I do think that I do think that it's going to sell some tickets. I'm not going to argue that. I'm not that I'm not going to argue. I do think it's going to sell some tickets. However, to have the Indiana Pacers walk by the Knicks in 4 or 5 games, in addition to them walking by them 4 or 5 games, to have Oklahoma City handle Minnesota in 5 games or 4 games, that's terrible for business. Because the fan interest, peace, God, the fan interest isn't there like it used to be. No, the fan interest is not there. Because they saw Indiana smoke these dudes in 4 games. They saw Oklahoma City mop these dudes in 4 games. It's like, give me a break. Like, do I really want to watch the finals? Which don't happen, by the way, which doesn't happen for 10 more days. So I have no basketball. This is awful for business. So Adam Silver is loving life off the strength that Indiana lost last night and off the strength that Minnesota won at home, because we need this series to be extended as much as possible. As much as possible, we need this series extended. So I thought that Indiana got beat at their own game. This is a team that thrives on playing fast. This is a team that's motivated by defense and motivated by being physical. I feel like the Knicks were much more physical. I felt like Cat took advantage as a big of Miles Turner. I felt like Cat, who, by the way, wasn't very good. He wasn't very good up until that point. Up until the 4th quarter, I was talking about Cat like I was talking about Julius Randle. I was like, the way y'all treated Julius Randle, that better be the same energy for Cat. The same energy. Toss posters down, trade Julius Randle. I was feeling the same way. I felt the exact same way. So when Cat became more aggressive, more physical, the game started to turn in the 4th quarter. They went to him more. Turner is now closing out on Cat. Cat is taking him to the rim and being a lot more physical with him. Way more physical with him than he was in the 1st and 2nd quarter. Way more. Way more physical with him than he was in the 2nd quarter and in the 3rd quarter. Getting to the rim. Miles Turner is closing out on him weak. Then he's closing out on him too far. Cat's blowing right by him. He's giving him way too much room at the long ball line. And that means the pickup point that means that the pickup point should be earlier. The pickup, you have to do your work a lot earlier with Cat, because Cat will crack the long ball from the logo and hit it. At 6'10", he'll do that and be effective. Meanwhile, Miles Turner is in the paint. He's picking up Cat when Cat almost gets to the 3-point line and he's got the ball. By that time, it's too late. And then Cat has made 1 or 2 of them. And now Miles Turner is racing out to him. He gives him a shot fake, gets right downhill, gets right to the rim. And now he's not only is he scoring at the rim with the weak hand, he's dunking on him. I mean, that's a momentum changer. That's huge. So I say that to say, I say that to say that the Knicks beat Indiana at their own game. I think Indiana's going to make the necessary adjustments to stay more aggressive, to keep that energy that they had in the 1st quarter and in the 2nd quarter, because I feel like at the end of that half, the Knicks had the momentum going into halftime, even though they were down 14. I felt like they had the momentum going into the half. They 100% had the momentum. They were up 20. The Knicks go on a 7-0. The Knicks go on a 6-0 run. 21. I'm sorry. The Knicks go on a 7-0 run to end the half, and now we got the momentum. And the lead shrinks from 14 to 8 when we get in the 2nd half. That's a momentum changer. No doubt about that. So I feel like the energy that the Pacers had in Madison Square Garden and when Neesmith was on the floor, they got to keep that same energy. They have to find it and keep it. Minnesota, on the other hand, this whole thing starts with Ant. Ant comes out with that low level of energy. You see what happens. They get smoked, right? They get smoked in that game one. And then that spills over to game two, even though he came out with a little bit more energy, that affected Julius Randle. But then we get home and Ant's full of energy. And it's resonated throughout the crew. I can see how much more energized Mike Conley is. How much more ready Jaden McDaniels is. I think he gave Shea a little bit more space to operate because Jaden McDaniels is a very good. I'll take that back. Let me rephrase that. Jaden McDaniels is an elite on-ball defender. Elite. I don't think he's a good on-ball defender. I think he's elite. And I think that he used that. I feel like he uses that against SGA, but everything doesn't work against everybody. Not everything. And I think one of the things that helped him was the pickup point was further back. I'm going to live with Shea shooting threes. I'll live with that. But I can't let him get ahead of steam, right? So I might not pick him up full court. I might not pick him up when he crosses half court, but I might pick him up at the break. So when he's trying to get ahead of steam, I can slow that down. And legally, I can slow that down. I'm not slowing him down by bumping him and he's flopping. No, I'm bumping him legally to slow him down, to get in front of him. And it's working. 100% it's working. That double drag action that they ran in game one, in game two, that double drag action with Alexander Walker and Rudy coming behind him to set the screen. You got a DHO and a screen, and then you got Rudy coming right behind to set another screen. That's double drag action. When you have that, and I got Ant, who's much better with his weak hand off the dribble than he is with his strong hand. From what I've seen, he looks much better going left pulling up than he does going right pulling up. And with that being said, when you run that double drag action, and I got Ant at the long ball line open, and he sees one or he sees two go in, now we got the defense getting pulled up. Now they got to get up higher on Ant because guys like Alex Caruso are going to navigate screens. So is Lou Dort. They're going to navigate screens. But with them doing that, that's how Ant can get downhill. And that's where guys like Julius Randle come in. Because when Ant gets downhill, he collapses the defense. Same thing with Julius Randle. When he gets downhill, he collapses the defense. So this kind of stuff works. This kind of stuff works when Ant gets going. Ant is I think Ant is the catalyst to all of this. I think Julius Randle's going to play. I'm not going to argue that point at all. Julius Randle is 100% going to rock, and he is invested in all of this. But I feel like Ant is the guy that's going to push them over the top. I feel like everything that I saw from them on Sunday tells me what type of team this is. This is a team that thrives off energy. This is a team that's definitely got fight in them. That's what this team is. This is a team that thrives off energy. This is a team that has fight in them. This is a team that can run their offense, can stay in their action. There are things that they have to go away from, like that short roll action between DiVincenzo and Rudy. No. Just like that short roll action between Ant and Rudy. No. That's not going to work. No. That's not going to work at all. Rudy is great around the rim. That's where Rudy is the best. Around the rim, throwing him lobs, dump offs to him where it's a catch and score. He's the best. He's one of the best in the league at that. One of the best in the league at that. And I love that about him. So, and since we're on the subject of best in the league, I mean, the All-Pro team came out. The All-Pro team came out over the weekend, and I was correct on my first team, right? So, with me being correct on my first team, I noted that fifth spot could have gone to other people. I thought it was Donovan Mitchell before the season started. I thought that there was a fight between both him and Anthony Edwards. I thought that there was a fight between him and Anthony Edwards when Cleveland went on that West Coast road trip and they dropped 4 straight, and Donovan Mitchell just sucked. He'll tell you that himself. He was awful. And I thought that at that point, I felt like Anthony Edwards could have edged him. But Donovan Mitchell was able to get it back together. And in addition to him getting it back together, that Cleveland team got it back together. And he was able to edge Anthony Edwards. But I thought it was between those two guys. That second team, I didn't have Curry. I did not have Curry on that second team. I had Cat in Curry's spot. And I said this earlier to the guys, and you guys, they basically jumped me when I said this in February. I want to say in either February or March when I said, I think Evan Mobley's an All-Pro. I think Evan Mobley's an All-Pro. And then we went down which team. Then we went down which teams he could be on. I originally thought he was third team, but then I started watching him more. Then I was already watching him anyway throughout the course of the season. But then I was watching how much he was affecting the game more. And I watched how much better he was than he was last year. I was like, Evan Mobley's a second team All-Pro. Yes, sir. Second team All-Pro. The third team, I got that completely wrong. Well, not completely. I got one of the 5 guys right. And that was Cade Cunningham. So on the first team, the four usual suspects, which was Joker, Giannis, SGA, Jason Tatum, those 4 guys were legit, right? Those 4 guys were legit. And in the fifth guy, I thought it was Donovan Mitchell. Turns out it was Donovan Mitchell. On the second team, it was Brunson, Curry, Ant, James, Mobley. Take Curry off, because I had Curry on the third team, right? I had Curry on the third team. So take Curry off and put Cat on the third. Put Cat on that second team. That's where I had him at, right? So with that, then you get to the third team. I only had one of those guys right, and that was Cade Cunningham. I did not have James. I did not have Tyrese Halliburton as an All-Pro. I had Dame Lillard. Before Dame Lillard went out with that injury, I felt like Dame Lillard was playing at that. I feel like Dame Lillard was playing at that level at that time. I felt like he was playing at an All-Pro level, and I thought he was going to make the All-Pro team. James Harden, I think that was Trey. I had Trae Young in that spot. Cat, I had him moved up to second team. Cat spot on third team. That was Triple J's spot. And I didn't even consider J-Dub, which I'm out of line for that. If I'm keeping it a being with you, I'm 100% out of line for that, because I'm thinking about how many teams have won 68 games or 69 games. 72 Lakers did. The Bulls did. The Celtics did in 73. They won 68 games. Both Havlicek and Dave Cowens were all pros that year. The Bulls did in 97. They won 69 games. Both Scottie and Jordan were all pros that year. The Warriors did in 16, where they had 3 guys make the All-Pro team that year. So I'm thinking to myself, how could I not have J-Dub? Even though there was a point throughout the season where I thought J-Dub was a first-team All-League defender. I didn't think he was a good defender. I thought he was a first-team All-League defender. And for me to be surprised that he made the the all-league defensive team was bugged out to me because I was like, wait a minute, you already had him on the all-league defensive team anyway. You did not have him on the all-pro team. I did think that he would get votes. I didn't think that he would be on the all-pro team, though. I did not think that. On that third team, I had Cade, Dame, and Cade, Dame, Trey, Triple J, Curry. That's who I had on that third team. So I thought that was quite interesting, but I don't, to be honest with you, I don't really have that much of an issue with the all-pro teams. I don't think that there was anybody that I looked at and was like, wow, I can't believe he got in. There's no reason for me to think that J-Dub, even if he wasn't all-pro, which he turned out to be an all-pro, there's no reason for me to think that, well, how did he become an all-pro? He 100% was good enough to be an all-pro. 100% he was. No doubt about that. So I think they got it right. And this helps Memphis. And the reason why this helps Memphis with Triple J not being an all-pro, right? This helps Memphis off the strength that they don't have to pay him the Supermax now. They don't have to pay him the Supermax. And now that frees up a lot of money for them to, one, either go in a different direction, or not just go in a different direction, but sign other guys. I know G.G. Jackson was coming off that injury, so I'm gonna take this year as a wash. Brandon Clark actually came back, right? Not just Brandon Clark, but you got these guys still on rook deals, right? You got these guys still on rook deals, and with these guys still on rook deals, you got some time, right? I feel like you got some time to stretch this out. So this really helps Memphis. Really helps Memphis. So they don't have to pay Triple J. They don't have to pay Triple J the max. So I think that's great. I do. I think that's great. This is also a space where this can be bad too, because so we clear, SGA ends up winning the league MVP. He's up for an extension next year at as much as $76 million. In addition to him being up for an extension, J-Dub comes off his rook deal is up next year. He made the all-pro team. So he's up for a significant raise. This wouldn't be a big deal in Miami, Los Angeles, New York, or even Boston. This is Oklahoma City. So things get expensive real fast, right? Things get expensive real fast. And because they get expensive real fast, that's why you got to win when you have that window. So I look at Oklahoma City, and I feel like this is the year that they have to do it. Because at the next year, man, it's going to get real tricky. At the next year, it gets really tricky. So I'm interested to see how this works. Because again, with a guy not making an all-pro team, that helps your salary cap. But also with a guy making an all-pro team, that can throw a monkey wrench in what you're trying to do. Because you're trying to hold on to these players, which now that I think about it, and I thought about this, I've thought about this throughout the course of the season, that I'm not interested in listening to owners talk to me about the salary cap and why this whole thing is getting blown and you guys are in the second apron. You're the ones who agreed to this bullshit CBA deal. You are the ones who agreed to that. You are the ones that came up with the 51-49%. You are the ones that came up with the 51-49%. You are the ones that came up with this second tier because you don't want to see bomb squads anymore, right? You don't want to see KD with Curry and Clay and Dre. All right, I get that part. You don't want to see that. I take no issue with that. However, I don't want to hear you complaining about things getting expensive, though. Yes, you have bird rights, and you are allowed to pay your guys, and in the process of paying your guys, you are allowed for that guy to only take up 35% of the cap. All right. That's how the CBA got changed. See, Red Auerbach wasn't trying to hear none of that. Red Auerbach felt like whatever I pay my star guy, this has nothing to do with the salary cap. That's what the bird writes. I want to be able to pay my star player whatever I want, and it shouldn't affect the cap. That's what the bird rights came. That's where the bird rights came about. But it's a double-edged sword. It 100% is a double-edged sword. But I want to hear from you guys. I do. I definitely want to hear from you guys. So what up?
What's up?
What up?
So I want to know your thoughts on what the 76ers are doing right now.
My thoughts the 76ers are doing right now.
Because I heard from some sources that they're not planning on doing anything with George or Embiid. And to me, that's just dumb.
I'm out on Joel Embiid.
Oh, I am too, but I'm not on that squad if they're going to keep them all.
They probably are, because Joel Embiid is damaged goods, and it's going to be really hard to trade him. Same thing with Paul George. I mean, he's got, I believe, 160 more million left on a 3-year deal.
Oh my goodness.
It's going to be hard. It's going to be really hard to move him.
That's so ugly.
What I'm doing. The only way you can find out is you got to pick up the telephone. You got to call people, and the reason, and find out, check people's temperature on Paul George. Even if you got to get a third team involved, that's not a problem. Same thing with Joel Embiid, because I think that you've maximized everything that you're going to get at him. He's damaged goods. As good as Joel Embiid is, and I mean, I'm one of those people who, when Joel Embiid was coming out of college, I thought I had him pegged like the next Olajuwon. I thought he was that good. I didn't know he was made of glass, though. I did not know that.
Yeah, but if they're going to keep their third overall pick, I mean, at this point, why not call up Phoenix, ask for KD, throw in that third pick? You don't think so? If they're going to keep that squad together, you might as well grab something else.
It's going to be a disaster.
It will be a disaster, but you might as well.
So you just want to sell tickets?
I mean, if
that's what
if you're going to keep Embiid and George and Maxey on the same squad with two different generations going on, or a few more, then I mean, throw some together, sell some tickets. I mean, I'm not trusting the process. I don't know about you.
Oh, it's over. The process has been over. I mean, I'm good. I'm definitely good. So good to talk to you, though, Jake. Appreciate
who you got tonight? Who you got tonight?
I like Minnesota to top this series. I do. The energy is different. I like them to top this in a dogfight, by the way.
Oh, it's going to be a good one.
I like them to top this series. So good to talk to you, brother. What up?
Peace, chill. What's good, brother? Peace and blessings. What's up, man? Yeah, man. Hey, I'm with you with that one. I think tonight's game is going to be a dogfight. I think we're going to get a good game to the end, and I do think Minnesota's going to pull it off. That's a part of my fandom, because I want the league to last a little bit longer.
You told me I gotta let fans be fans.
No, we gotta be fans. We gotta to enjoy this. Because like I tell you, in a minute we're gonna have people talking about football prospects, and I don't want to hear none of that. I don't want to hear none of that.
About training camp. No, not yet. I ain't interested in talking about training camp right now.
I already got dudes hit me up talking about it's fantasy season. When we not even in the finals yet. What are y'all talking about?
Training camp ain't even open up yet. Relax. What we doing?
Yeah, man, but I wanted to touch on the All NBA team, because we discussed it, before. And remember, I told you about Harden making it, right? I remember I told you Harden should.
Yes, you did.
And I'm so happy that Harden was able to make it. But finding out that Jared Jackson didn't make it, and he's losing out on a max deal, is kind of crazy, chill. That's when you really. And then they wonder why the players and the media has a beef, right? How can you as a player feel comfortable talking to these people when they could actually dictate your career?
And your bread.
Right?
And your bread. Yes.
Right? You see what I'm saying? That's kind of crazy when you really think about it. I mean, he could have made it. If he would have made it, I wouldn't have argued, right? I wouldn't have said, oh, he's
I had him on All-Pro team, Jay.
That's what I'm saying. So, yeah, so I mean, but the guys that they did pick, I didn't feel bad about neither. Tyrese Halliburton was a surprise.
Yes.
It was a surprise. I don't know if that was like a late push for them, right?
It was.
Because I know you have to have your votes in before the season ends. I think it's right before, somewhere in the first round, you give up your votes. But I liked it. Some people were trying to say LeBron shouldn't be on the second team, using all these crazy numbers that have nothing.
Jay, what we doing, man? It was a stretch where we was talking about James being first team All-Pro, and this was late in the season. By the way, we were doing this. This isn't like this was in January or in December. This was in March. We were talking about. James is a first team. He's playing like a first team All-Pro. Stop this bullshit, man.
Exactly, and then they were mad about Donovan Mitchell making the first team. It's like, come on, guys, like you got it. We got this. Which I was, I tell people the All NBA team is very, very prestigious award. For me, it's a very important award because it does let us know who the cream of the crop was for this NBA season, for whatever NBA season we're talking. And I think this was a good representation from the first team, second team to the third team. Even I didn't think Stephen Curry should have been on the second team, but hey, he had a great season. You see what I'm trying to say? We can't really be mad. But do you think?
I had come third team.
Yeah, they had a lot more guards this year than before. There was only 2 centers though on this team. If it was the old style, what would have been the third center? Would it because Jared Jackson's a small forward or considered a small forward? Who would have been the third center? Who would have been the third center if we would have had to do it?
Let's see here. A lot of these guys, damn Jay, we making dudes like Rudy Gobert all pros. Yes, we make it because Anthony Davis is out, right?
Yes, Wemby's out.
Wemby's out. Jaren Jackson, who plays the 5.
Zubac.
Like guys like that are making an all-pro team. Yes, Zubac, Rudy. Yes, because of the 65 game rule and because of injury, guys like Zubac, guys like Rudy Gobert. I mean, Rudy Gobert was an all-league defender again this year.
Yeah, he was.
He was an
surprisingly
all-league defender again, and I think that he got, if I'm not mistaken, I think he got some first place votes. Yes, he got some first place votes to be a first team all league defender. But with that being said, it would have been tricky if we stuck to the conventional way where you got 2 guards, 2 forwards, and a big. It would have looked really funky. It would have.
And we got to thank all of this to Jaylen Brown. Because if Jaylen Brown don't make the All NBA team in 2022, gets that max contract, the NBA, because imagine that now, imagine as an owner, you think you got to pay Zubac $350 because he made the All NBA team, right? And because you let the media make the vote on top of that, they could slip and let Zubac make it in, right? Now I got to pay him $350. Remember, imagine if Bam would have made it in. Pat Riley would have had a stroke. Bam would have had a stroke. Pat Riley would have had a stroke. He would have been. You know how many media people wouldn't have been allowed inside the arena after voting Bam as an All?
No, he would have been on the phone. I can tell you right now, Jay. He would have been on the phone like, "Yo, who's interested in Bam? Because I can't pay Bam $350. I can't do that." Then don't forget, Tyler Hero was up too. Tyler Hero was up too. So
exactly.
Yes.
Oh man. So now we know why they did the 65 game rule, right? Why they did the positionless, right, is because they understood with this new collective bargain agreement that we're going to have to pay players for being All NBA team, which I don't mind, but we're gonna have to regulate it somehow. Not just regulate it, but something. We're just going to have to give us some kind of advantage. We just can't let the players have all the advantage in this scenario. So there's some players that are getting snubbed, man. So the relationship between players and the media got to get better for the players' sake.
And for the media's sake too, because the media's got this tag. The media's got this tag where they are now considered biased, selfish, and they're destroying guys' careers. Like Jaren Jackson, this could be a legacy thing. Like imagine Jaren Jackson being an All-Pro. I mean, he made the All-Pro team, I think in 2023, I think he made the All-Pro team. So if I can there's a difference, Jay, between making an All-Pro team twice and making it 5 times. Those two things
of course. Exactly. No, we know that.
Those two things are not the same. And when I got a media member or a bunch of media members who don't exactly appreciate me, and they treating me the way that they treating me. And now this is a legacy thing with me, because I'm clearly playing at an All-Pro level. Clearly, I'm doing that.
Yeah,
which is why because I know how you feel about the 1900s, and just so we clear, Jay, that's why they had to add a third team, because we had guys like James Worthy and Mark Price, right? We had guys like that missing out.
But they did make it before. If I'm correct, Mark Price made a couple. You know what I'm saying? Guys like Reggie only made a couple, right? So, again, it is a prestigious honor, and I like the media getting it. But I think with how, because remember back then the media wasn't a big thing. Media wasn't big. The only people who was reading basketball news in the 80s and the 90s were basketball fans. Yes. Today, everybody's into the media, so media has a larger presence than they did back then. So I think the players and the media have to get along a little bit more. Guys like Will Bond and Stephen A. Smith are showing you, this disdain for players that you have. You're just upset because they won't give you an interview, or you can't.
Too, Jay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you can tell, like, you're mad because of silly stuff like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because These are younger dudes who are doing their own thing. They're making their money, and they really don't need the media like the guys back then needed the media. But now you do, because guess what? You just lost 200, JJ. So you better start smiling when Monica McNutt and them show up, and when all these people start
I
showing
like that. How you doing? What's going on, lady? How are you, Monica? So now I gotta
Not-
start playing
not
that
that-
game.
Not to say you need any extra tidbit to smile at Monica McNutt, but you know what I'm
She's
saying?
not
Just,
hard to look at. No, she is not.
but I'm just saying, when you got all these people like the Bill Simmons, all these guys, man, that have the votes, and like they said, even the Nick Wright, because I think Nick Wright does get a vote in some capacity.
Yep.
If he does, because I know like guys like Swiper, right? Swiper gets the vote, right? Swiper is media accredited. I try to reach out to the brother too for him to help us understand a little bit more about it. So if you can get in touch with him, tell him that I'm still interested in having him come on as a special guest to tell us how that works. But anyways, brother, let's get ready for tonight's game. Great show.
Sir.
Looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to subscribe to your TikTok, brother. So,
Thanks, brother. You know where to find me at. Out.
Yeah, man. Peace and blessings.
What up?
Now, let's get something out of the way right quick. These all NBA teams, we all know what's what. We all know what's to do.
What do we know, Lee? Because this kind of shit, I don't like this. I don't like to speak in.
You don't like to speaking in code shit.
Yeah. What do we know, Lee? What do we know?
What do we know? The fact that the Memphis Grizzlies basically nosedived from 2 to 8 in a matter of a week. What was it? I don't know.
Less
how
than a
many
month.
days.
They went from second place to being in the play-in tournament.
Being in the play-in tournament,
That's
and
correct.
Triple J was reduced to being second team on defense when he was a defensive player, decoy candidate, right up there with Evan Mobley the entire year.
That was going on. The entire year that was going on. 100%.
And the only real case that could put him out of that is the fact that Draymond politicked for Defensive Player of the Year on his own podcast.
Hey, Leaf, hold on. Stop right there. Can we acknowledge the fact that 100% Dre politicked to be an all-league defender and to be the defensive player of the year? That's how he got on the all-defensive team.
Yes, he did.
I ain't saying that he ain't a great defender. I'm not saying that. But he 100% politicked that.
This year, he politicked that. Yeah,
I just want to make sure that I ain't
absolutely. No, you're not bugging out. Now you might get a little angry at this, but as far as Spider being on first team, I mean, I didn't have him there.
Yep.
I had him at second team. I definitely didn't have LeBron and Steph at second team. I don't know how they asses got there, bro. Like, they belong on third everything. Just put them motherfuckers in third. Just keep them there forever.
I thought James played. I thought James played at a first team all level, all pro level, but I didn't think Curry was that good. I didn't. No,
I didn't think. I thought LeBron played at a first team all level for maybe about 2 weeks, and that was it.
That's it.
Like, that's it. That's
No,
it. The entire. But before Luka got there, bro, like, he was 3 at best, or not making it at best. So I mean, I'm not finna go into it. But you are right about the money. In terms of, if Bam Adebayo made Johnny said it, if Bam Adebayo made all NBA team, Pat Riley was probably gonna retire indefinitely. He was gonna be
I'm on the phone like, yo, listen,
yeah,
I got Bam Adebayo. Listen, what are you interested in?
What do you want
for Bam? Because I'm not paying him no $350 million.
I'm not paying him $350 million. I'm pretty sure the Memphis Grizzlies feel the same way about Triple J, which is kind of made their process a little bit easier, bruh. So they probably maybe give him the $250 and he'll split. But it is what it is now. As far as the upcoming season goes,
I don't even think they're going that far, to be honest with you. I don't think they're going to 250 with Triple J. I'd be surprised.
So they let him go. They let him go and get paid. They like, yo, you can get paid somewhere else. You ain't getting no money from us.
I think that they'll go over 200. I think they'll go to 220, maybe 230. I don't think they're going to 250. Nah, yeah. I don't think they're doing that. Mm-mm.
Yeah, I mean, well, nope. I probably maybe 200 some change. I'll give him that. But if I may get disgusting a little bit about these 2 games, for me personally, I want these series to be over. Damn, the hell with the NBA. Then they don't care about these teams. Let's be honest, man. Like, they don't care about OKC. No, they don't. No, they don't. No, they don't. I'm not convinced that they care about these teams. They don't. They're just using them for money, and they're just using them to extend the series, bro. Like, OKC. I saw the MVP of this season laughing after Game 3, bro. And listen, I know You know, I know what that means. So it's like, oh, y'all hype when y'all up. Okay, all right, cool. Because there's no way Minnesota's 40 points better than the Oklahoma City Thunder, bro. Like, come on, man.
I don't think Minnesota thinks that they 40 points better than them.
I don't think Minnesota thinks that they're better than OKC.
No, I do think that they think that. That I do think. I think they think they're better than Oklahoma City. That's why this is turned into a series. The energy just different, and not only is the energy different, the atmosphere is different. Ant's playing different. Not only is Ant playing different, I think the schemes that they run. I mean, it's still the same. It's still a lot of the same stuff. Double drag, not just double drag, but down screens, curl cuts, isolations with Julius Randle, speeding up the game, corner kicks. They still run the same stuff that they I feel like they still run the same stuff that they ran against the Warriors, against the Lakers. I just think that the energy level was different when they came home. Way different.
The energy level was way different when they came home. Now, as far as OKC, I don't expect them to have another blunder like they had in Game 3. Absolutely not. I expect the defense to be a lot much more potent. Them getting in the passing lanes, them getting after, reading the actions that Minnesota's running on offense, and basically counter-reacting that with what is believed to be one of the best defenses that we've seen in years. So I mean,
hold them dudes out there. They was up 50 at one point.
They was up 50 at one point, and they wanted to win the game by 40. But no way I believe that. I don't believe what I saw. I turned the TV right off. I'm like, man, I ain't watching shit. But
what if I told you that, and I just found this out today, that there is not one NBA team that has lost by 40 and won the NBA championship in the playoffs. No team has ever had that. I just want to put that on your mind, Lee.
Wait.
One more time, Lee. In the 75-year history of the NBA, these are how many teams that have lost by 40
in the playoffs.
In the playoffs that gone on to win the NBA championship. These are how many? Yes, sir.
40?
Yes,
okay. I think that's I think 40 is a bit of a stretch, man. But I mean, OKC was probably on crowd control. I don't know, man. I don't know what it was during that game. But as far as yesterday's game, last night was a total complete accident. It was a total complete accident. There's no way I believe that the Knickerbombers are going to survive with two of their best players having 5 fouls in no way in surviving that game. There's no way this happening again. The action that Indiana has been running in terms of hunting them and making sure they get in the foul trouble that they get in to begin with was excellent. I don't know why it didn't continue as the game went on. I don't know why it didn't resurface when Cat got in the game. The second that Cat got in the game, they intended supposed to be up and be like, yo, his ass got 5 fouls in this season and these fans' dreams of letting the series extend them. Like, make them watch the WNBA. F it, man. Like, the hell with it. It's a WNBA game on every day. Basketball is basketball. We don't need the NBA right now. We don't. We really don't. It's literally a joke. We got basically 3 teams that the NBA doesn't care about in the New York Knicks. They don't care about these teams.
Well,
they don't.
Hey, good to talk to you, brother. I know where to find you at, my man. What up?
Hey, what's up, Chill, man? Good to see you. Happy Memorial Day.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm gonna break it down like this. My formula is my formula. Of course, it's my opinion on different teams, and it just works. I don't gamble. I don't have a favorite team. So guess what? I can watch every game that's played and enjoy it and not mad and all that stuff. So I'm a little bit different. I'm a hybrid on it.
There's no subjectivity with you. You completely objective. Yeah. You ain't got nothing invested in none of these dudes.
I got nothing invested. I'm not even gambling on it or nothing like that. But when I tell you, when I see different games, I knew when Anthony Edwards walked down the street in LA and did that little stuff that he did, the karma was going to get him. I knew when Halliburton did his little choke job thing, it was going to get him. And when I tell you, I could write it down. Actually, I do write it down. You can see when someone is going to get their karma. I don't like the Knicks or the Indiana Pacers. But at the end of the day, I still can enjoy the game, and they both got things going on. I don't know where it's going to go, but I can definitely tell you, my girl sitting right here, she can tell you, like, how do you know this? I'm like, some things just come to you. that when I see a superstar score a lot of points, look at the next game. He's gonna have a borderline good game, and the next game he might have a great game. So when I see Siakam do what he do, I knew Siakam was gonna do that. And when I see Steph Curry got 2 points in the first half, he's about to do this. Karl Anthony Towns is only good for about 20 points to 23 points. I know he'll give you something every now and then. But my knowledge of the game, and I sit there and watch it, thank God I don't bet. But at the end of the day, if you watch it, and I hate when people that don't play the game call people like Tatum and Anthony Edwards trash and they're not good and all that. I'm like, y'all was just celebrating them.
And out the other. For me, that goes in one ear and out the other. I don't even listen to that stuff. I don't.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, come on. They was just celebrating Jalen Brunson. He's the best. Man, this dude ain't played but 4 or 5 years. He's the best in the world right now. But now he's not. But I know how the New York market is. They're going to tear you up. As soon as you can't do this and do that, they're going to tear you up. I've watched guys do that.
I think it's interesting too, 2 cents. And I had a real problem with this, that if the Knicks win the NBA championship, Jalen Brunson is the best Knick of all time. Okay, first of all, he only been there 3 years, right? So does Walt Frazier not exist? Am I losing my mind? Like, right. Walt Frazier played 10 years for the Knicks. Not only if you're going off of that, if you're going off the fact that Jalen Brunson won the NBA championship, Frazier did it twice. He didn't do it once. He did it twice.
Very disrespectful. If they knew.
Yeah, I think it's wild as hell when y'all say stuff like that, man. It is. It's super wild to me. But I will tell you this, and you did mention something about Anthony Edwards. I mean, it doesn't take rocket science to recognize what come around, go around. You're gonna get yours.
Yeah.
You're gonna get yours, no doubt. I mean, don't get me wrong. You can be confident, you can be brash, but doing too much of that, you're gonna get yours.
Yeah. Chill. Wait till I catch. Oh, well, at the end of the day, I got some things underlined that's gonna go on. Wait until I show you and tell you. I'm like, man, when these guys do this, man, it's disastrous. It's not even every now and then. It's almost 90 to 95% of the time when I see guys, they do this a whole braggadocious thing and act like nobody can stop them, or it's just the karma for whatever reason. Man, they actually do catch people. And I sit here and the only person I want to display that with is my girl, because she's not into sports and she can see it. She'd be like, wow, you are so true on that.
Well, and it happens. That ain't no nonsense too. Well, come around, go around.
Watch it. Yes, it's coming. Yeah, New York got their time because they was beat up last year, just like the Spurs. When the Spurs did with the Heat. Hey, sometimes you got to wait a whole year to get your lick back. And it happens, man. I wish people knew the karma. When I see it coming, I'm like, shoot, when Boston, before they won their championship, I watched them get beat a lot of years. And as soon as they came around and got their chip. Sometimes it's their time to get their lick back. I'm going to land it right there, Chill. Hey, I'm going to land it right there.
Good to talk to you, brother. You know where to find me at. I got 2 super chats. I got one from Senior Citizen Support. He said, if T-Wolves win tonight, I think they take it in 7. I before this series started, I had the Oklahoma City Thunder in 6. That's who I picked to win the series, Senior. I think that all the Oklahoma City Thunder did was protect their home floor. It's now up to Minnesota to go home and protect their home floor. And I've said this, and I will stand on this logic for as long as my existence. It's a lot less difficult playing and losing game 1 or game 2 on your home floor as it is when you come back to your building after you've won both of those games. You come back to your building and the series is tied 2-2. It's way different because now you're facing something that you hadn't faced already. Now you're facing, if we lose, we got to go on the road for an elimination game. That ass gets a lot tighter. So we'll see. We will definitely see. Chief Marshall says, Chill, where do you rank this all pro list as far as getting it right? Well, I completely bombed the I completely bombed the third team. I didn't get. I only got one of those guys right. Right. I only got one of those guys right on the third team. I got the first team right. I got 4 to 5 guys on the second team right. I did not have James Harden. I did not have Tyrese Halliburton, and I did not have J-Dub being an All-Pro this year. I did not. So I got a few of those wrong. Yes. So as far as ranking them, it's not that high. I mean, it is higher than some of my others, but it's not as high as others that I've had. So, speaking of high, it's about that time, guys, because I'm on a high right now because I'm ready for this Minnesota-Oklahoma City game. So that's going to happen in a couple of minutes. You guys know where to find me. I will see you guys soon. I'm on TikTok, 9 a.m. every morning. If I'm not there, I'm on the panel from 11 to 2 on the Players Choice Network. If I'm not there, this is where you can find me on YouTube on the Chilltown Hoops Network weeknights. Me and my man Tony Tone. We do it here on Tuesday nights at 8 o'clock. If you can't find me here, you can find me with me and my man Big Ops on Thursday and Saturday. Thursday at 4 o'clock Eastern, Saturday at 12 o'clock on the Players Choice Network. Hit that subscribe button and you will get notifications. I will see you guys soon. Until then, put on a suit, drink water, don't drink and drive. Hey, man, call your mother. When's the last time you talked to your mother? Call your mother. I will talk to you guys soon. But until then, take it light. Take it. Absolutely, man. It was good to see you guys tonight. No doubt.